Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Code Stack podcast. Today, we're talking about a really interesting topic. We're talking about hiring, how to become more hireable. I'll be sharing some tips and tricks, and I hope you will enjoy this episode. So, let's get started. So, I know if you're a junior developer or you are looking for your first job, the goal you should have in mind is how to get hired. If that's the goal you have, you're not doing coding just for fun, then I think you will get benefit from this episode. We have to be honest about this job market. Getting a job in this job market is not easy. I know you'll be thinking like you don't have an experience, that's why it's difficult. But even for experienced people, it's getting harder and harder to get a new job. If they get a new job, it takes time. It's taking a lot of time, maybe 2, 3, 4 months. If they get laid off, if they quit their last job, it will take them some time to get the job. And especially if you don't have any experience, then you probably need a good strategy. And I'll be sharing some tips around that strategy. So first thing first, this is not a job market for just the HTML and CSS people. So if you're just doing HTML, CSS, those days are gone. Those days are long gone. You will not get a decent job. Maybe you get some freelance here and there to fix some CSS or HTML. But if you want to be a serious developer, if you want to get a serious job, HTML, CSS will not be enough. You need to have solid coding foundation nowadays. And I'll be talking more about that as well. But yeah, so first thing, if you're doing just HTML and CSS, you will not get a job in this job market. Accept that and move on. Because if you don't accept that, you'll just keep repeating the same thing. You will get the same result, right? So no HTML and CSS. And the second thing I want to talk about is work from home setting. I'm all in for work from home. I wish everyone can do work from home. But if you see the data, if you see the trend, you'll see that a lot of companies are moving towards the hybrid model. And in hybrid model, like you'll go like 1 or 2 days a week or bi-weekly. You have to have some kind of presence. So if you have no experience, I will ask you to move to those cities where there are jobs. Just check your local areas where I don't know where you live. You have to be there. You have to be there where there are jobs. You can't just sit home and let people find you. You have to find them. If you can move, please move. If you can't, you can't change that. But if you can, if you're young, you're 22, 23, 24, you don't have a family, then I'll highly, highly recommend move to cities where there are more jobs, where you can make connections. Because see, there are a lot of senior people who don't want to go to office, and there are a lot of companies who need people in the office. So if you can say like I'll be in the office 5 days a week, even though they might not ask you to come 5 days a week, but if you give them that preference, then they might think that out of all other candidates, you are the only one who's willing to come to office, and maybe they'll hire you. Yeah, so there is some chance. I will say 5 to 10%. That will increase your hiring chance by 5 to 10%. If you just do that, if you move to that city, maybe more than that, maybe 25%. Yeah, if you move to those cities, you will have more interviews, you will have quicker interviews, and you can make a lot of connections. So move to cities where there are jobs. And the third thing, I want to talk about experience. I know if you're a junior or you just started, you don't have any experience. I can understand that. A lot of junior devs, they're making this mistake that they are working on their portfolio. I'm just like making my site as perfect as I can, which is good. But to be honest, I don't have a portfolio. I never had a portfolio. I try to make one and like don't have time to make a portfolio. I have a resume and you can see like where I worked before, but I don't have a portfolio. So portfolios have some significance, especially if you want to do some freelancing work. If you want to do that, yeah, make a portfolio. If you don't, if you're looking for a 9 to 5 job, I don't think nowadays anyone will care about your portfolio. No, they have too many applications. They're not going to go to your website and see how fancy it is. No, especially like nowadays you can make a fancy website with AI. The portfolio value is going down day by day. So what should you do? So instead of making your portfolio, which is kind of useless, why don't you make other people's portfolios? Why don't you make website for other people? And you'll say like, what do you mean? So let's say you find someone on internet who has a lot of following. Maybe they're in tech, maybe they're not in tech. You can fix their sites. You can find bugs and say, see, you are doing this wrong and I can improve your UI by this way. So pitch them the idea or just implement your solution and show it to them. Maybe there are companies, maybe there's some restaurant, I don't know, like find someone you can help and help them. If they like it, they'll accept it. You can put that in your resume and might be you get paid. You can say, okay, I improve your site, I'll do this and that, and I'll charge you like, I don't know, $100, $200, $1,000. It's up to you, whatever you want to charge. And you charge that, and then you have a paid experience, which again you can write in your resume. If you don't have a paid experience, you can still write your experience that I worked to fix this portfolio website. You can check it here. And even in an interview, if you get one, you can show, see, I did all this. So instead of grinding your portfolio, like working day by day. And I would recommend just find people who need help and help them, and then show that to your future employer or potential. So don't make your portfolio, don't waste time doing that. Just do what I told you. And the same thing with projects. I know you can make a lot of projects, but if those projects are useless, they are useless. There are a lot of resumes coming to employers. They don't have time to go to your GitHub and dig deep until and unless they really like you. If they really like you, they'll do that. But they don't have time to dig all those GitHubs. If you can make open source contribution, that's great. But I know as a junior, it's really hard to contribute to a open source because you don't have that much experience, right? If you have, show them, write that in your resume. But I don't recommend going open source route. But you can do that. You can make your project and make them open source. But if you want to make your project open source, make sure it is usable. It's not a clone of something, the clone of Twitter. No one will use your clone of Twitter. Even if it is open source, no one will use it. Even you won't use it, right? So make something useful. If you can't find an open source idea, just fix other people's website and put that in your resume. That's the best advice I can give you. And no one's talking about it. So take that benefit before like people started doing that. And this is around like solving real world problems. As a developer, your job will be to fix things. That's it. This is what you will be doing your whole life as a developer. You will be fixing things. So build those muscles, find things you can fix, find things which are fixable and fix them and show it to them, and maybe charge some money for that. This is what development in a nutshell. And then the next thing I want to talk about is practicing interviews. I see a lot of people, they're studying, but they don't practice interviews. Don't just grind lead code all day, all week, all month, and not practicing your interviews. I know you'll be judged based on your technical side, but you'll be judged based on many different sides as well. So make sure your behavior side is good. I mean, if they ask you some tricky question, you don't just give them an answer which they don't expect. You can practice CodeStack, you can go and try some front-end challenges there. I'm adding challenges every week, every day, whenever I get time. And box your time. I mean, say you want to learn coding, right? So give yourself 6 months or 3 months or 4 months, and give like 1 or 2 months for your interview preparation, right? So you need to find time so that you can practice code and practice your interview preparation. Don't miss that. I see a lot of developers who don't apply for jobs. They just keep on practicing and they think that they're not good enough. One of the things like I learned in the beginning, that most of your learning as a developer will be happen at a job. There is a limit, there is a ceiling what you can just learn from yourself. Majority of your learning will get from your job. So if you want to learn, if you want to get better at coding, you need to find a job. You need to find some problem, first of all, that will pay you, so you will have some money in your account and you will gain experience. So that should be your goal for first 3 or 5 years. Don't care too much about money. I know like nowadays salary is not as it was before, but whatever you get, whatever decent amount of money you get, take it and start your coding journey. Start your real world experience so that you can learn. And after 3 or 5 years, we can talk more about how much you should make or how much you should charge. So initially, don't worry about how much you get paid. If you get paid anything, especially if you have zero experience, if you get paid anything, take it, learn something from it, and then apply next. And at the end, I think at the end of the day, it is a number game. The number of jobs you will apply, the more interview you'll get, the more higher the chances you will get hired. Apply for jobs, have good preparation, prepare for interviews, and I think sooner or later you will get a job. That's it. That's the whole cycle. There's nothing extra to it. This is the cycle. This is the cycle everyone goes through. This is the cycle you will go through. And just keep things simple. You don't have to make things complex. I'll repeat everything again if you missed it. So first of all, just don't depend on CSS or HTML. Practice React, practice front-end, practice Angular, whatever you want to do it. Practice that. So move to a city where there are high chance of getting a job. If you don't have any experience, I already talked about, go fix other people's problem. Practice interviews, practice coding skills. Box your time so you make sure you don't spend too much time learning and not applying jobs, and test your skills. And at the end, it's a number game. The more jobs you apply, the better the chance you'll get a job. And I think that's it from today's quick episode. If you like it, please check CodeStack. And I'm your host, Saran. I'll meet you next week. Thanks a lot.